Hi guys, Happy New Year and welcome to London Diaries with Shikha. So this video is going to be about 5 tips to obtain a work-life balance. So if your New Year's resolution is to cut down on that overtime, or if you're just wanting to achieve work-life balance, then please keep watching. So tip number 1 is to draw a line. Now, this seems to be really simple thing to do, but actually this is one of the most complicated things to do because as humans, we get used to doing things a certain way, and any change is difficult for us to, digest. So our first reaction to any change usually is to try and postpone it, push it back, see if we can carry on. So although it might seem like such a basic thing, but to actually make that decision that I am going to cut out overtime from my work life requires a lot of determination. And I say that because when I started out my career, I was doing overtime every single day. So for me to sit back and say, I'm not going to do overtime, was a bit difficult for me to digest as well. And that happens with everyone because we're all humans. So that's my tip number 1. Okay, so my tip number 2 is to make a to-do list. If you make sure that you have a to-do list every morning, that's going to give you real good structure. Now, whether you make the to-do list every single morning when you get into work, or whether you make it before you leave work and you make it for the coming day, it is going to help you so much. This is a key thing. Once you have made the decision of cutting out overtime, this is what is going to help you to actually deliver that. Have a to-do list ready every single day. Strike out what you complete. Analyze your day at afternoon, lunchtime. See how far you are from what you set out to achieve. Because you know what? We all have plans, and then surprises come along the way and our plans go out of the window. So to make sure that nothing important is missed out, it's really important to have a to-do list. And this will give you a lot of confidence when you finish work on time because you will know exactly where you are standing. And if you have to stay back to complete a task, it's a fair enough point. So that's my tip number 2. So my tip number 3 is to reflect. As humans, it is so important to constantly reflect on yourself, on your day, see how things went, see how you could do things better. So if you feel like tip number 1 and tip number 2 are not working for you and you're thinking, what rubbish is she talking about? Then my tip number 3 should really help you because you should be able to reflect back and analyze why you're still doing overtime if you have followed my step 1 and step 2. Is it because, you're doing a task that can be delegated? Is it because for some reason a task that takes half an hour is taking you a couple of hours to complete? Is it because maybe you are actually genuinely understaffed and then you maybe just need to accept that this is not the best time to cut down on overtime when you are maybe 2 people down? So if you reflect on what's happening, you will be able to judge for yourself in which direction you're going. So now we move on to tip number 4, which is action. Now, just like tip number 1, action seems so simple and yet so difficult. Same reason we get used to things and then we want to try and avoid changes because we are in our comfort zone. But remember, learning happens outside of your comfort zone. So if after reflection you have established that there are things that you can actually improve or you can do better, make sure to action them. Be true to yourself. If you have made commitment to yourself that you are going to achieve a work-life balance, then make sure that you see it through. So if you have established that there's a task that you're doing and there's a more efficient way of doing it, make sure you change it in line with your company policies, by the way. Now, finally, we move on to tip number 5, which is celebrate. Now, we spend so much time analyzing and criticizing ourselves and wanting to improve, which is a fair point. We should always want We should always aim to be a better version of ourselves. But at the same time, when you do achieve something, it is so important to take some time out and celebrate and just give yourself a pat on the back and say, well done, you. No matter how big or small that achievement is, you've got to celebrate success because you know what? When failures happen, it is but natural that we go into a phase of why it happened. So when success happens, it should be natural as well to celebrate it. I don't know, go for an extra pint of beer. Um, Ladies, you go and shop for a dress or a skirt or new makeup. Whatever makes you feel like you're celebrating, do it. Sing, dance. Alright guys, so that's a wrap. These are my 5 tips on having a work-life balance. They have worked for me and I truly hope they will work for you as well. If you have tips which are different from mine, then please leave them in the comment section down below. And till next time, please keep smiling. Alright guys, I don't know, this is take number 100 maybe. What am I talking about? Make sure there's a to-do list. This. Okay. Oops. I think I did it again. Draw a line. Where? Let's do it.